Hey fight fans, welcome to MMA Daily, your go-to source for the latest news, fight analyses, and exclusive interviews in mixed martial arts. Hit subscribe and join us as we step into the cage together. Starting off, Max Holloway slams Ilia Topuria for being Conor McGregor copycat. Moving on, Daniel Cormier believes Tom Aspinall is the world's best heavyweight. Lastly, Israel Adesanya predicts Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 308. Max Holloway believes Ilia Topuria is trying to be Conor McGregor light. Holloway is ready to challenge Ilia for the UFC Featherweight Championship this Saturday. The title fight will headline UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. This is Holloway's bid to become a two-time champion in the 145-pound division. There has been some back-and-forth trash talk between the two, and Max believes Ilia is trying to imitate Conor McGregor. During a media scrum, Max Holloway discussed Ilia trying to label himself a BMF. He said Ilia hasn't earned that distinction and would rather be a Conor McGregor ripoff. It just makes no sense. To me, I don't think he deserves, you've got to earn that right. I mean, you guys know the guy he's copycatting. This guy is a copycat down to his tattoos, to his aura, to the way he's approaching fights. The guy is a copycat. At the end of the day, I think you've got to earn that moment, and I believe he could have earned it with Josh Emmett. If you guys go back to that fight and watch what happened, when Josh Emmett tried to swing, someone shot, and someone held someone down for the rest of the fight. He's already trying to steal one person's aura, and now he's trying to steal somebody else's thing. This will be Ilia's first attempt at a successful UFC title defense. He hasn't been shy in telling fans just how good he is, and there will be pressure fighting a future Hall of Famer in Holloway. UFC commentator Daniel Cormier believes that Tom Aspinall is currently the best heavyweight on the planet. Over the course of the last few years, Tom Aspinall has established himself as a real force of nature in the UFC. He is the current interim UFC heavyweight champion, dominating every fight he's been in outside of the freak injury he suffered against Curtis Blades. However, he will not be competing for the undisputed belt next month. Instead, that'll be Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. The two men will collide in the main event of UFC 309 in New York City. In the eyes of Daniel Cormier, though, the real best heavyweight in the world is Tom Aspinall. I don't believe he's the best heavyweight, not Francis. I think the best heavyweight is Tom Aspinall still. I think John is, but he's older now. I think Aspinall's still young, he's fresh. There is something to not having everything yet. When you have everything, it's hard, man. Sure, he's headlined a couple of pay-per-view, but he's not making seven figures every time he walks into the octagon. He hasn't been making $1 million for 10 years like Jon Jones. Aspinall sure has a lot of questions, but when you look at these dudes all on paper, I would favor Tom to beat Francis, I would favor Tom to beat Stipe Miocic, and I would actually favor Tom to beat Jon Jones right now. Former UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya isn't expecting Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev to go the full distance at UFC 308. Whittaker and Chimaev battle in a potential #1 contender fight at UFC 308 this Saturday in Abu Dhabi. The co-main event is one of the most anticipated co-headliners in recent memory based on the decorated runs of both stars. Fighters, pundits, and fans are split evenly as to who they believe will emerge victorious in Whittaker versus Chimaev. However, a common theme emerges, and that is that Whittaker will need to stifle Chimaev's wrestling for his best chance to win. Adesanya is picking Whittaker, his two-time rival, to hand Khamzat his first career loss. I just think Rob is a guy not to be with. Look at his last fight. Hopefully, people will remember who he is now. I think Rob will do it again. Definitely not as early. I don't think so. I just think he'll catch him later on. But he has to weather the storm. He has to survive until he can't. I'm gonna go Rob with this one with the late finish. Round 4, Adesanya's prediction is similar to Max Holloway's. While Holloway didn't predict an exact method round, he picked Whittaker to win. Whittaker enters UFC 308 with a lot of momentum after defeating Paulo Costa and Ikram Aliskerov earlier this year. He was supposed to face Chimaev at UFC Saudi Arabia in June before Khamzat withdrew due to illness. Khamzat returns to middleweight after defeating Kamaru Usman in his divisional debut at UFC 294. But thanks for tuning in to MMA Daily. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more daily MMA content. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.